is a Super Bowl 57 champion from the Kansas City Chiefs by way of South Fayette High School, where he played for one of America's great high school football coaches, Joe Rossi over there, doing a great job. On to Penn, to the Bucs, where he won a Super Bowl, and now in Kansas City. Justin Watson joining us here on 93.7 The Fan. Justin, Andrew Filipponi, and Chris Muller, what have you been up to since you guys won the Super Bowl?
Hey, what's up, fellas? It's awesome to be on the show. I've listened to you guys so much when I was driving back and forth from high school in Pittsburgh. But, man, it's just been a fun ride. You know, that was the first time I've actually heard that call of the final play of the game. And, man, just all kinds of celebration. You know, we probably partied a little too hard in Arizona, then had to catch a flight back here to Kansas City, and then getting ready for the parade tomorrow.
Are you trying to pace yourself for the parade, or you just keep the party going, Justin?
No, I got to pace myself, man. You know, I'm feeling like an old man. You know, this is year 5 now, and I've been through this once before. I got a wife and a baby on the way, so I'm feeling
Congratulations, man.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, get ready. I was going to say, get ready, because this feeling right now of you're kind of exhausted from everything that's going on, as soon as baby gets here, good luck. That's every day. Because I can say that as a father. I can say that as a dad of 2. That's every day, but it's coolest thing ever. So you've got that to look forward to. You also, this isn't your first rodeo, second Super Bowl. You have to be on the very short list, if not a list of 1, of people who have won Super Bowls with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. What is it like playing with each of those guys? I mean, just how are they similar? How are they different? Because on the field, what they do and how they go about doing it is very different.
Yeah, you know, I think in both of those games, you just had so much confidence knowing that the leader of your team, the quarterback, you know, the first time with Tom, you have a ton of confidence because this guy has been here, done that 6 times before we won the 7th one for him. So when he told us how it was going to go, you know, you took that as truth. And so everything that he described in that game, everything that he said we were going to go out there and do in the pregame speech, we were just like, okay, if Tom said it, that's what's going to happen. We're going to go out there and do it. And then, you know, this time with Pat, you could just feel his passion. You know, it always gives you confidence when you have the best player in the world, you know, the reigning MVP, leading you onto the field. So you just could feel how bad he wanted it. And we obviously got down 10, and it just felt like we had been there before. We had just this offensive explosion waiting to happen, and it was cool to see the second half play out how it did.
It had to be weird, though, because, like, did you get an unfinished business vibe from him where and you were on the other side of it when you guys blew him out? Like, did you sense that he had felt like he was taking that game with him into this one and wanted to make sure it didn't happen again?
Absolutely. You know, it's just one of those things, man. It's so hard to get to Super Bowls and win Super Bowls, and how many great quarterbacks don't win any or just win one. And so I think a lot of us wanted this game for him. You know, what a huge legacy game it is, to go to 2-1 in Super Bowls, get his second ring, instead of the other way around.
We're talking to Justin Watson, who's now a Super Bowl champion again, the South Fayette product, who wins a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, and he's with us here on The Fan. So while all of us are watching Rihanna, you guys are in the locker room for probably what felt like an hour, because the halftimes drag on, Justin. You're down 10. Mm-hmm. What's the vibe in there? Because you talked about it. You just talked about the halftime. What is it like in there? Are you guys uber confident that you're going to come out in the second half and win the game?
Yeah, so I think, you know, we were hoping that we were going to be up 10 points and that we'd be sitting in the corner trying to listen to Rihanna, and, you know, that's how you dream of going into halftime. And, man, it was just the opposite. Like you say, we're down 10. We'd only played 20 plays as an offense. It felt like we were barely out there on the field. And so we just wanted to – we just couldn't wait to get back on the field, and here we are in the longest halftime of the season. And, you know, offense coordinator gets up and says his piece, and we're all fired up, ready to go, and you got to wait 20 more minutes. And then Pat says his piece, and we still got to wait 15 more minutes. So I think we were just chomping at the bit. You could just sense this readiness that, hey, we didn't need to talk about it anymore. As soon as we hit that field, as soon as we get this ball, we have to go down there and score a touchdown, and we have to score every time we touch the ball in the second half. And like we said, saying it's one thing, doing it's a whole other story, and going out there and scoring every drive in the second half was awesome.
Now, did Kelsey talk as well, or did you not have enough time for like a WWF-style promo in the locker room?
No, we had it. We had it. That guy just.
He's a maniac. Hold on. Can you keep a straight face when he says, all due respect, that nobody believed in you? You guys were one of the odds-on favorites this year. I was picking you for weeks that you were going to win this game.
Well, when everyone else in the AFC West loaded up, the Raiders got Chandler Jones and Devontae Adams, and then same thing, Broncos go trade for Russell Wilson. The Chargers loaded up. They got Khalil Mack and a bunch of guys. So all of a sudden it went from, especially a guy like Kelsey who's been here, has been the odds-on favorite every year, and to come off that, 4 straight AFC championships. We made it 5 this year, and to hear that, hey, you're probably not even going to win the AFC West, and some people saying, hey, will these guys even make the playoffs? It's just such a tough road. We had Buffalo, we had Cincinnati in the regular season, just so many tough games. And so, the only leaks of media that we got into the locker room, Coach Reed was making sure we heard, hey, these guys aren't even going to make the playoffs. These guys aren't going to win the AFC West. These guys are underdogs, coming into the week of Cincinnati. These guys are underdogs playing Philly in the championship. So we had that chip on our shoulder, whether anyone else thought that way or not. We felt like nobody believed in us except ourselves.
Pittsburgh Super Bowl champion, a 2-time winner now, Justin Watson, joining us from Kansas City, where they're going to have a parade soon to talk about Sunday's win and his career to this point, which has been incredible. So how did another Pittsburgh guy, another WPIAL legend like yourself, Justin, how did Sky Moore get so open for his first NFL touchdown? His first career trip to the red zone is in the Super Bowl of all games, and both times down at the goal line, we're watching wide receivers in the flat against a top-rated defense wide open, which just speaks to the brilliance of Andy Reid. Take us through that, Justin. How did that play to Sky Moore happen so easily?
Yeah, oh man, I was so happy for Sky. Like you said, first career touchdown, and to happen in the Super Bowl is, that's just, it's unbelievable. He's still so fired up. He might have had a little bit too much to drink the other night. I think he pulled up a few minutes late to our receiver meeting this morning. So we were giving him a little hard time about that. But man, just so happy for him. This week, one of the things they did in all their motions, and just really any crossing routes, is they did a really good job of passing the crossing routes and the motions off. So if the corner had you on the left side of the field, you motion to the right side, he would pass you over to the nickel. And so really all game we were sending those cross-field motions and just doing jet sweeps, fake jet sweeps, preparing for getting into the red zone or getting into a big third down and doing that fake motion. So the last 2 weeks in practice, we've been running jet sweep across the field motions, setting up those two plays. And, it was funny. Speaking of Kels, he actually lined up on the wrong side of the formation. So it's the biggest play of the game. Kels lines up on the wrong side of the field. They're showing cover 0, and Coach Reed was about to call a timeout. And our quarterback's coach, Matt Nagy, said, no, it's still good. It's still good. And so Coach Reed didn't call a timeout, and then sure enough, Sky gets open and scores his first career touchdown. So it's just crazy, man.
Was that a new play? Did you guys have to give it a name? Like the Philly Special. Everyone's going to say Philly Special in Philadelphia to the end of time. Do you guys have a name for that play called, Justin, that'll live in history?
Well, it might. I don't know if it's as iconic as Philly Special, but it's definitely a Coach Reed play. We call that play corn dog. So
that's amazing.
So yeah, 2 corn dogs gave us a victory for Coach Reed.
Did you know that, Chris?
I did. As soon as you asked
I
that,
didn't know that.
Justin, I thought he was setting you up and he knew it, but as soon as he said,
put that
what's
on a
the name
T-shirt
of the play,
in Kansas City, corn dog. That's going to sell like crazy there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Hey,
that's beautiful.
Hey, I forgot to ask you this earlier, Justin, but you said how you go, we need to score every possession. We're down 10. We need to score every time we get the ball here in the second half. You guys had one incompletion, and that was when Mahomes threw it away on purpose. When in that first drive, or was it in that first drive of the second half, when did you get the sense, all right, he's heating up, like, we got this now, like he's locked in? I mean, you caught a pass for 12 on that drive to push it down the field. When did you get a sense that, yeah, we came out firing here, this is going to be, game on in the second half, we have a really good chance to win this thing?
Yeah, I think really when you get that first down, that's what you're focusing on first, is just convert, and then you kind of feel like, okay, we're getting it rolling. I think the biggest play of that drive was Kelsey's catch, coming across the middle. Pat extends the play, scrambles, kind of gets hit, and then Kels just makes an unbelievable catch, an inch off the ground.
Yeah.
And so once that happened, we were just like, we were all, the offensive line was protecting. Pat was going to get the ball out fast. The receivers that drive said, hey, we're gonna shorten our routes up a little bit. Like, we were just all in on, we're just going to chip our way down the field. The first half, we were trying to take a lot of shots, and that second half, we just came out with the mentality that we're just going to play perfect. We're going to take what they give us, and might not be any home runs, but we're going to just keep getting first downs, and then find a way to get the ball in the end zone. So, you don't even really realize those things, that Pat doesn't throw any incompletions, that you score every possession until you look up at the end of the game, and it's pretty cool to see. But
you're just thinking that corn dog worked twice. You're like, we called corn dog twice and got 2 scores out of it.
No, that's it's just so cool, man. Hearing those guys talk about it on the sideline. We had the first time we had 3 or 4 different play calls go in because we were coming off a timeout, and then somebody said corn dog, and then Pat's eyes lit up, and he's like, "Dude, corn dog, that's such a great call." So we're saying it, not even thinking about it, and it's cool now. Looking back at it, that's a game winner.
Justin Watson, South Fayette wide receiver, now a 2-time Super Bowl champion with us. In that second half, you're talking about how, okay, we're not maybe hitting these 50-yard bombs or whatever, but we're just moving the ball down the field. We're taking what the defense gives us. The guy who was front and center in that for me, Justin, was Juju, who had a huge second half, and I was happy for the guy. He left Pittsburgh, not on bad terms or anything, but he wanted to go to a team where he could give himself a chance to go back into free agency, have success. The Chiefs had courted him the year before. What did you make of his impact, the former Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, on you guys winning a Super Bowl on Sunday?
Yeah, so I heard from one of our coaches today that I think Pittsburgh had the 4th highest viewership out of any city in the United States. So we were joking.
They were watching you. It was all about you. That's the backstory.
No, we were saying Sky and Juju and the whole crew, but I just know Pittsburgh loves football, and I was a fan of Juju. Obviously growing up in Pittsburgh, obviously grew up a huge Steelers fan, and so he got in the league the year before I did, and I think what doesn't get talked enough about with Juju is just that guy is just a football player through and through. He makes a lot of money and notoriety on social media and TikTok and then all the dances and everything else, but that guy is tough as can be. He fought through a really, fought through some knee pain and some things that kept him out of the second half of the AFC Championship, and just to see him gut it out in the second half and make a bunch of huge plays, it just doesn't surprise me, and really happy that see him finally get a ring. That's all he's talked about all year is, didn't care about the incentives. Cared about them, but the ultimate reason was to come and win a Super Bowl was the only thing on his mind. And so really happy to see him finally get that. And I think, he comes from a big family, Pacific Islander. So I think he had like 60, 70 people at the game, and there was a cool shot of him up in the section with all of his family.
Who'd you have at the game? Who came from the Watson clan? Who got tickets to the Super Bowl this year, Justin? Who'd you take?
So I had 5 at the last game in 2020. That was my mom, dad, my brother Alex, his wife Marissa, and my sister Abby. And then this time around, we added my wife Erica. So there was six Watsons there, and that's one of them said they're starting to get spoiled. This is becoming an every other year type of thing. And I said, man, I hope we get to keep spoiling you guys, and we get to do this a few more times.
Justin, I'm going to put you under the broiler. You just got through with another Super Bowl win, high pressure. Now, you just played, 4 seasons, with Tom Brady, or with the Bucs. You played with Tom Brady, the GOAT, right? Now people are talking about Patrick Mahomes' place already in history because of the 5 years he's had as a starter. I'm not going to ask you who's the better player, but every receiver or tight end I've ever talked to always says this. They talk about who throws the best ball.
Oh.
So of Brady and Mahomes, I don't want to know who's better, but who throws the better ball?
Tom is an unbelievable quarterback, and but I got to go with Pat, man. I think they throw really similar balls when they're sitting back in the pocket, but
Yep.
Just seeing Pat make some of the throws that he makes, rolling out of the pocket, throwing across his body, throwing on the complete other side of the
When
field.
Pat has the ball in his left hand, you have to be ready that he still might throw it to you.
Oh, I know. Even yesterday there was a scramble drill. I was like 60 yards, completely on the opposite side of the field from Pat, and I was open, and I'm like waving my hand like, Pat, throw it. That you just get after a whole season with Pat, like you just become accustomed to him making these insane, ridiculous throws, and then you take a step back and you think like, okay, that's a ridiculous ask to think anyone could make that throw, but that's just how he makes you feel. It's like playing with a Madden quarterback, feeling like he can just hit a button and put the ball anywhere he wants on the field.
Justin, how do you go from South Fayette to two-time Super Bowl champion? What's your football story like? Who do you credit for turning you into the professional who's already in his mid-20s, had all the success in the NFL?
Yeah, I think you already said his name, and that's Coach Joe Rossi, the head coach at South Fayette. I was always a good football player, but I think I liked baseball and basketball a little bit more when I was growing up. And my freshman year in high school, we made it all the way to the state championship and lost. And I didn't play any snaps on varsity that season. So for me, it was a fun season making it all the way to state, but it was hard. I was on scout team just getting pummeled by the state runner-up defense and offense. And I almost thought about quitting that year and just focusing on basketball and baseball. And Coach Rossi was really the guy that made me completely fall in love with football and really just taught me the right way to approach the game. The two things that Joe Rossi still says to this day, and he was saying when I played at South Fayette, it was, just come every day with your absolute best attitude and the best effort that you can give me, and I'll always be okay with that. And so for me, that always took the pressure off, whether it was a state championship game or we were playing just another team on Friday night. I knew if I played as absolutely hard as I could and I had a great attitude when I was doing it, that Coach Rossi would be happy. And I just try to carry that with me even all the way until Sunday night, Super Bowl, biggest game of my life. And just knew that, man, if you do those two things, you can always look yourself in the mirror and say, I gave it my all. So, I just absolutely love Coach Rossi, everything they do at that program at South Fayette. Obviously, they've had so much success on the field, but he just does a great job of creating young men into great leaders.
Were you always a receiver? Was that like you came out of the womb and you were a guy that was going to be groomed to be a wide receiver, Justin, or was that a transition too?
No, there's actually a funny story about that. I was the quarterback for my grade, and so growing up, I was always the quarterback, and we had a pretty good quarterback that was the year right behind me in Brett Broombaugh. Who
all kinds of records. Yep.
So you could see that guy was going to be pretty good. And when I was in 8th grade, Brett was in 7th grade, we were playing on the middle school team together. And our head coach of the middle school team came up to me and said, hey, we're trying to get our best 11 players on the field. We think Brett's one of those. What would you think about playing receiver and Brett's throwing you the football? And I said, let me think about it, Coach. Give me a day. And so I went home, and, I'm a guy that always just says, yes, Coach. So, I like playing quarterback and being the quarterback, but I was going to go in there and tell him, hey, Coach, I'll go play receiver, and let's get Brett to throw the ball. And that next day at lunch, when I'm getting ready to tell Coach that I'll transition, the prettiest girl in our middle school comes up to me and kind of flirtatiously asks me if I'm the starting quarterback of the middle school football team. And in that moment, I made a decision. I said, damn right, I'm the starting quarterback for the middle school team. So that delayed it for a year, and I was the quarterback, all 8th grade because of that. And then when I got into high school, I found out that Coach Rossi was the one that kind of saw another guy, Connor Beck, that was our other receiver, and saw Brett and what we could be down the line. And so when I finally got to high school, Joe Rossi said, hey, man, we're moving you to receiver, and definitely had a hard transition year. My first year just felt awkward playing receiver for the first time, but man, so thankful that Coach Rossi saw the future well before I did.
You going to lobby Andy Reid for a trick play where you're throwing one?
Yeah, man.
KC special, maybe? Or does he probably
Let's
not want to
go.
take the ball out of Mahomes' hands?
Let's get that middle school girl in the crowd for that one.
Yeah, call it. You don't have to call it corn dog. You can call it cheeseburger.
Are you married to her now? Is that the full circle story? Is that your high school?
No.
No.
No, I never even got a date with that girl. So it was not worth it. Not worth it at all. But
hey, Justin,
go
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, after you win the Super Bowl and it's Valentine's Day and you've got a kid on the way, do you guys still do a romantic Valentine's Day dinner tonight? Do you guys still do that?
So we just won the Super Bowl. I was out in Arizona last week. I'm not even thinking about it. And then I'm on the plane ride home, and all of us husbands finally hits us like, oh, man, we got Valentine's Day, coming right around the corner here. And so I was about to apologize kind of for my wife ahead of time, like, hey, I didn't really get a reservation. I didn't think of anything. And she's so sweet. She's so awesome. She volunteers every Wednesday to cut. She's a barber is her profession. So she volunteers every Tuesday at an after-school program for kids here in Kansas City to cut hair. And so before I even said anything, she said, hey, we can't do dinner on Tuesday because I'm cutting hair for these kids all night. So I kind of got bailed out with her being just such a sweetheart. But we will I'll make sure when she comes home she's got some flowers and some other goodies waiting for her.
Justin, does she cut your hair?
She cuts my hair, yep, every week.
Nice.
Well, almost every week.
Are you a difficult cut for her? Does she say, like, you're a real pain with what you want? Like, or does she consider you a very simple cut?
Well, so I'm easy. I always think it looks good. She's the one that has the particular eye. She thinks that I'm the walking billboard for her, and that every time my hair cuts on TV. So she'll spend 30 minutes on somebody else, and for me, she'll spend a whole hour just making sure every single little hair is just right.
Now does she expect you? Because like I cut my own hair now, I shave my head, but when I would go to the barber, they always want to make small talk. Are you making barbershop small talk with your own wife when she's cutting your hair? Does she expect like some casual conversation?
My wife is not a fan of small talk. She used to be a woman's hairstylist, and actually, one of the main reasons she switched to men's hair is because men don't talk as much as women when they're getting their haircuts. So, no, she is just fine with us putting some music on or watching something on TV while she's just cutting me right here in the kitchen.
Hey, Justin, we're so proud of you back here in Pittsburgh. It's so awesome that you carved out some time for us with all the craziness you've got going on. We're delighted to hear that you've been listening to the station and us throughout the years. The next time you're in Pittsburgh, we're going to take you out, okay, buddy, to celebrate. We appreciate everything.
Oh, that would be awesome, man. Love you guys at the Fan. Love everything you do. One of my closest friends, Raul, is listening. He texted me. I guess he was already listening to you guys and said, hey, I heard you coming on in a minute.
Yeah, man.
So, man, love you guys at the Fan.
You bet. See you, Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
Enjoy the parade.
Congrats.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Justin Watson.